Welcome back to another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast featuring your favorite not hater, Mr. Brown. Um, Before I get started on what we're going to talk about for today, just want to say again, once again, thank you to everyone who has been supporting, watching episodes, clips, what have you. Giving constant constructive criticism and things of that nature. I just want to say that I appreciate it, and I hope that you guys keep it up, continue it. It does keep me going. It does allow me to have the motivation to continue to make episodes and continue to do different things when it comes to these podcasts and the way that I want to be able to give the content to you guys. So definitely appreciate it. Yeah. So we're gonna start off. The world is the world. I don't really have anything to talk about as far as the news and politics goes, but Trump is Trump, Elon is Elon, and the way things are looking, we're gonna have a long road, a long road ahead of us. So, with that being said, whatever you've been doing this thus far, just keep it going. Don't let the things that you hear on the news distract you from what your ultimate goals are. Sometimes you got to unplug from the news. Sometimes you can't just be solely focused on what they are portraying on the stories, because sometimes it'll have you too wrapped up and you won't be able to do the things necessary to have the life that you are trying to strive for and obtain for. Um, so that's my little spill on that. Like, don't get too wrapped up in the news. It's cool to check in. It's cool to check it on your phone. It's cool to, watch it on certain days or whatever. Kind of look for the gray areas, the positive stories that they may present. But when they get too bogged down and too focused on the story, turn it off. Go do something else. Read a book. You know, what may have you, like whatever. Do something else other than just sit there and continue to watch it, because it will consume you and you won't be able to do much of anything else. With that being said, I'm gonna move on to the next, I guess you could say, topic, or next topic, right? So I was thinking about this earlier this week, and it's basically like being cool, being laid back, being cool under pressure. Why should you do it? How do you do it? How do you maintain it, etc.? Right? So I've been called, because I talk about me first, I've been called a laid back person. And sometimes I'm too laid back, as from what I hear. Like, I'm not really aggressive or things like that. But there is a reason as to why I'm not like superly overly aggressive, right? I do have moments where I can lose my proverbial cool, but I don't do it often. And once I go through the whole thing, I'll explain why I'm even talking about this topic to begin with. So, for people who have been watching from, I guess you could say, day one, everybody knows that I work in a school system in Connecticut. I won't say exactly where, but I work in a school system. I work in one of the toughest positions outside of being, probably, I don't know. I work in one of the toughest positions in the school. I work in the in-school suspension room, classroom, whatever you want to call it. It's not easy, okay? And I have an episode about this called "My Real Job." You can listen to me talk about it in depth and how I deal with it every single day, and yeah, and why I am the way I am when it comes to kids. Okay, and it's a whole thing to it. Go check that out if you haven't already. So I'm constantly cool and laid back, even in that position, because dealing with these new age kids, right? Because we're not dealing with the kids from our generation, or even the one right after us. We're dealing with some different type of kids. These kids go through massive amounts of things that we never even dreamed of, or if we did go through it, right? We had a different type of perseverance about us, where we pushed through and we kind of made it through. These kids don't have that. To me, they give up at the first sign of trouble and just become whatever their environment is. And I've learned that over time, right? These kids will tap out and just, start acting up. And then they come to you and they want to act crazy. And I realize when you get crazy back with them, sometimes they'll stop, but then sometimes it'll escalate and they'll keep going. And I have pledge to myself that I'm not about to escalate with somebody else's kid. Reason number one being is that I don't want to have to deal with anybody's irate parent talking about I did anything out of the ordinary, right? Because that's the first thing. I always got to think about my job first. So I got to be cool. I can't be out here acting crazy, flipping desks and chairs and tables at kids and lose my cool because I'm going to lose my job. That's my biggest fear. I can't provide in the world, and I know it's more to life than that, but at this point in time, if I can't provide for my family, yeah, take me out. That's my first thought all the time. Like, yo, I can't cross the line because I'm gonna lose my job. And I may not even lose my job, but just the sheer thought of I'm gonna lose my job can't happen. Won't let it happen. So I'm gonna always be cool. I'm gonna call for the right people to come help me, and we gonna work through it. I'll even talk to the kid after after the situation is over, calm them down, get them back to normal, give them some advice, and keep it pushing. But you're never gonna see me act out of control. Just not gonna do it. Second reason is because I have a child that is in school, and my always number two thought after the first being the job. The number two thought is that I don't want anyone to put their hands on him and feel as though they can do anything to him. I want him to act with the utmost respect, of course. But if it ever comes to a situation where he may be a little out of control, I won't say he won't get out of control. I want the staff member that is working to help him to also have control as well, right? We got to check some of this anger and all this at the door, whether it's unresolved issues or whatever the case is. Don't bring it to your job. You got to be cool. If you got something going on at home, leave it there. Same thing with work. If you got something going on at work, when work is done, leave it at work. Don't bring it home. Your family, they don't deserve to have to deal with you being in a bad mood because somebody made you mad at work. That's not their fault. They don't have nothing to do with that. Same when you come to work. They don't have to deal with the fact that somebody at your house pissed you off and made you mad. That's not their fault. Leave it where it happened. Pick it up, deal with it so that it's not a lingering issue, right? Whatever it is. And if it's years and years or something, then again, like I've said in the past, it's okay to sit down with somebody and have a conversation and talk about those things that are bothering you and keeping you from being the best you possible. Okay, that's the first thing. But pick it up when you go back home. Pick it up when you come back to work. Don't bring it to either place because you're affecting the people around you. Okay, that's the first thing. You got a bad attitude, sit somewhere until you get it right so that you're not throwing people off, because the people that you're encountering are coming to you in a happy space, and because you are upset or whatever the case is, angry, whatever, however you want to be, whatever emotion you're feeling that's not a happy one, joyful one, you are in effect ruining their day. And you don't want to be that type of person, because guess what? People are not going to want to be around you after a certain point. They are going to go and look the other way when you come. And that's just being honest. Um, it's not easy to be cool all the time, right? Like I said, there's some points in times where, and especially dealing in my profession, kids will push you to a point, but you have to walk away, count to 10, whatever you use to stay cool and calm and collected in that point, you got to use it, because you don't want to be a casualty of, some he said, she said drama, or, a kid in this day and age, like, they have all the tools to report you. Their parents will believe everything. There's not going to be much to help you in the sense, and I'm talking from basically working in a school perspective, but you can apply it to other pieces of your life too, right? You angry at your office job and you go off on another coworker, they bring it to HR, now you in a meeting unnecessarily, and you got to go through job appointed anger management. Okay, you at your house, you go off on your family, let's say, for not saying that anybody would, but you put your hands on family member, wife, kids, etc. Cops get called. mediation happens, however it goes, you end up having to go to court appointed anger management classes, or worse, because you put your hands on them, you have to go to spend time in jail. Like, you got to practice some type of cooling, calming effort. For me personally, I count to 10. Um, but I don't know. I'm just a naturally laid back person. So I don't necessarily have um the same issues as somebody who's constantly angry. Like, I'm only angry like once in a blue moon, and it's probably something that I could have avoided, or it'd be something small, and I'll get over it really quickly. Like, I don't hang on to it either, because it's just not good for you either, just to hang on to unnecessary anger. Like I said before, let those things go. Do not hang on to them, because when you just carrying them day to day, it weighs on you. It changes you. You were once a happy person, and then because of some sort of anger, you're now a sad person who, doesn't smile, doesn't say good morning, doesn't do anything of the sort, and being kind to people. So remember those kind of things when you are angry unnecessarily. So with all that being said, like, just remain cool, or try at least to remain cool in all situations. If it, does take you too far, walk away from it. Just remove yourself from the situation before it does drastic damage to yourself and others around you. You don't want to be labeled as that guy, that person, that lady who's always angry and taking their problems out on others. Um, be smooth, be cool, be laid back. Try your hardest to do so. If you can't, um, like I said, use some methods. There are methods out there. You can Google them that people use to um, better themselves, right? Not so angry. We're not doing anger. We're not doing all those type of things this go around in our lives. We're gonna do calm, cool, collected. We're gonna be laid back and real smooth about situations. Like I always do before I end a particular episode, I always say some positive things or give some positive light um for the world. And this week and probably weeks to come, health is wealth, as they say. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, so you can show up and be the best you in whatever situation you may be in. When you're not taking care of yourself, it shows, it comes across. People can recognize it. So make sure you're doing that, man. Whether it's, taking time out for yourself to pause certain things, certain actions, making sure you exercise 20, 30 minutes a day, um, reading, doing different things in your quiet time, serene time, have those shutdown moments where you need to just get away and, you know, be with yourself, be one with nature, what have you. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's what's most important out here in the world, because there are people, whether you know it or not, people are depending on you to be you. And, just be your best self. And with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys watching, listening, whatever platform you may listen to it on: YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, whether it's a clip or the long form episode. Definitely appreciate it all. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace and love. I'm not a hater. It's the I'm Not a Hater podcast. Peace.